UFC Fight Night Cejudo vs. Song took place on February 22nd at the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. The event brought in $3.84 million at the gate, and even more in sponsorships and merchandise sales, not to mention the UFC's broadcasting deal with ESPN, which pulls $300 million a year. But how big of a slice did the fighters take home? The Washington State Department of Licensing does not disclose fighter pay information, so while Venom sponsorship and fight bonuses are released, the purses I'll be showing in this video are just projections based on disclosed earnings from previous events. With that said, let's jump into the first fight.
Every fighter that's under contract, if you want to tell the media what you're paid, that's up to you.
Light heavyweights Cuțelaba and Ibo Aslan kicked off the feature prelim throwing heavy hands as both men connected with concussive blows. Cuțelaba landed a right hand that sat Aslan down on the canvas, then went for the takedown once he got back up to his feet. After firing off a few punches on the ground, Iwan maneuvered from mount into an arm triangle choke. Once it was locked in, Aslan was forced to tap, handing Cuțelaba the first round submission victory. Aslan earned $14,000 to show and $4,000 in Venom sponsorship, also known as Fight Week incentive, for a total of $18,000. While Cuțelaba brought in $97,000 to show and $97,000 for the win, $16,000 in sponsorship for $210,000 on the night. In the main card opener, Julius Walker used his wrestling to control fellow light heavyweight Alonzo Menifield against the fence as he fished for a takedown. Unable to secure one, he seemed either stunned or tired as Menifield started teeing off later in the round, but was able to wrap him up and make it to the bell. Walker continued to hunt for takedowns in the second, but it became clear midway through the round that both men were exhausted. They pushed on into the final frame, where Menifield landed the harder shots, and in the first decision of the night, he would come away with a close split decision victory. In his promotional debut, Walker brought in the standard entry-level purse of $12,000 to show and $4,000 in Venom sponsorship, but got a huge boost from a $50,000 Fight of the Night bonus for a total of $66,000. While Alonzo Menifield made around $88,000 to show for this fight, along with another $88,000 for the win, $11,000 in sponsorship pay, as well as his Fight of the Night bonus, and took home $237,000. The second fight didn't last long at all, as featherweight Silva TKO'd Melsik Baghdasaryan midway through the very first round. The fight was close until it wasn't. Silva, exciting as always, planted a right hand on Baghdasaryan's chin that dropped him to the canvas. He stood over his opponent thinking it was a walk-off, but once he realized the ref wasn't calling off the fight, he pounced, delivering ground and pound until the fight was called, giving him his fourth straight knockout win. With the loss, Baghdasaryan earned $28,000 to show and $4,500 in sponsorship pay for $32,500 on the night. While Silva made $30,000 to show and $30,000 for the win, along with $4,500 in Venom sponsorship and a $50,000 performance of the night bonus for a total of $114,500. In the third fight, Rob Font came out aggressively against the undefeated Matsumoto, touching him up with his boxing early in the round. Matsumoto managed to score a takedown and had Font in a bit of trouble with a guillotine attempt, which he ultimately escaped. The strategies for both fighters were clear by the second round. Rob again got off to a quick start, using his boxing and forward pressure to land accurate shots, while hunted for the takedown and slammed Font down to the canvas twice, but was unable to hold him down for a significant amount of time. Font went right to work in the final round, opening up a cut on Matsumoto's forehead. It was overall a very close fight, and at the end of 3 rounds, it came down as a split decision win for Rob Font. Matsumoto was handed the first loss of his career and made $14,000 to show, as well as $4,000 in sponsorship pay, giving him a total of $18,000. But you'd be hard-pressed to convince me that Dana didn't sprinkle in a little extra for that performance. As for the winner, Rob Font, he took in $120,000 to show and $120,000 for the win, along with $16,000 in Venom sponsorship, totaling a $256,000 paycheck. In the co-main event, middleweights Brendan Allen and Anthony Hernandez shared a competitive first round, but the momentum swung Allen's way towards the end as he landed punches and elbows on the ground and threatened with submission attempts. In contrast, Hernandez scored a takedown early in the second and controlled the majority of the round while delivering damage from the top. Allen hurt Hernandez with a left hook early in the final round, but Fluffy was able to take the fight back to the ground, which is where he rode it out to the final bell on his way to the unanimous decision victory. Brendan Allen earned around $105,000 to show, along with $16,000 in Venom sponsorship, for a total of $121,000. While Hernandez, who earned a $66,000 purse 2 fights ago at UFC 298, is due for a fresh contract, earning an estimated $90,000 to show, along with $90,000 for the win, $6,000 in sponsorship, and a total of $186,000 on the night. Only 7% of the people watching this video are subscribers, so if you're enjoying the content and want to keep up with all the latest videos, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And finally, the main event of the evening, Henry Cejudo used feints and erratic movement to goad Song Yadong into attacking, but Song stayed patient, only turning up the heat towards the end of the first round. There was more output in the second and third, as Cejudo chewed up Song's lead leg, but Yadong maintained a lead in the striking numbers. Towards the end of the third, however, Cejudo suffered an eye poke, after which he took the full 5-minute allowance, and still couldn't see out of his left eye. Unfortunately, that's where the fight would end, and was judged on the 3 completed rounds, the result being a unanimous decision win for Song Yadong. For Cejudo, he pulled a $150,000 purse in his last fight at UFC 298, where he lost to the current champion Merab Dvalishvili, so unless he signed a new contract in the meantime, that's what he would have made for this event. Fighters also get a bump in pay for 5-round fights, usually around 25%, which for Henry comes out to $37,500, as well as $11,000 in sponsorship, giving him an estimated total of $198,500. And for the winner Song Yadong, he was already making $45K by his 4th fight, and his most recent disclosed purse of $48,000 for his 6th fight. It's not much to go off of, but with that trajectory, on this his 15th fight, he'd be at about $110,000 to show, along with $110 for the win, as well as his 5-round bonus, and he'd also earn $11,000 in Venom sponsorship, meaning his total on the night comes out to $286,000. Any corrections to the numbers I've shown will be listed in a pinned comment below. That's all for this episode. As always, thanks for watching. See you next week for UFC Fight Night, Kopp vs Almabayev.